I don't like asking the question, but I think I have to. Is Arne Slot under fire as Liverpool manager? Is he running out of time at Liverpool? Let's break it down and I'll give you my verdict at the end of this video. First and foremost, the context matters here, okay? This is the first time Liverpool have lost 4 games in a row since 2014 under Brendan Rodgers. That was an era that a lot of Liverpool fans want to forget, and maybe a lot of new Liverpool fans didn't even experience. And that's very important. Those were dark days for Liverpool. And to go back and say this is as bad as that period, that matters. That context matters. That's not good. That is not a good look, especially after you've spent £450 million this past summer. That context matters, and I don't want to dismiss that when thinking about how Arne Slot is doing and will he progress as Liverpool manager. Number 2, I think the Liverpool fan base is divided right now, but I also think overwhelmingly the fan base is patient. They are patient enough to say, we're okay with Arne Slot. Listen, he just won the Premier League in his first year as Liverpool manager, coming in, filling in the shoes for an absolute legend in Jurgen Klopp, and we're okay to give him more time to figure this out. I think a lot of fans are seeing the truth in that we have just spent £450 million, and that doesn't mean that Arne Slot's job gets any easier. I think it means it gets more difficult to try to integrate these new players coming in from different systems all over the world and all over different teams all over Europe. That's actually more difficult for Arne Slot to do than to take a team that was very unified under Arne Slot or under Jurgen Klopp and just to say, hey, we're going to tweak a few things, but go out there and play your game. We're going to be just fine. I do think that the Liverpool fan base is going to be patient with Arne Slot. Now, the club isn't panicking either. I think a lot of insider reports are saying Liverpool are not even thinking about replacing Slot. That's not even on the table. It's ridiculous. I agree with that. I don't think, even though I think since February, March, April, Liverpool have looked real poor. But I don't think that the club is panicking over Arne Slot, who just dominated the Premier League last season, and then also, for half of the Champions League dominated. But the first half of last season was incredible. It was magical. It was Liverpool at its best. And since, February, March, it hasn't been that way. But I think Arne Slot has tools at his disposal to fix that, and I don't think the club is going to panic over that. Okay, the tactical mess. This is probably one of the most frustrating things because every single new game, Liverpool come out and there just seems to be no change. There seems to be no tactical plan to fix this mess. And I think the lack of tactics is very clear on the pitch. I don't think I've encountered a Liverpool fan over the last month who said, oh, I love how Liverpool is playing. Oh, they're playing great. They're just unlucky. There's really no real identity out there, or no identity that we can see from the results on the field, from the way that they're playing. The tactical mess needs to be fixed, and it needs to be tightened up. I don't understand how this hasn't been fixed or implemented, because I know Arne Slot is the type of manager who can implement those things quickly. So maybe he's taking more of a stretch this season than he did last season to say, hey, we're going to implement more changes in a less amount of time, because we just need to get, all these new players. We just need to do this all at the same time, and we're going to do it, and it's going to be painful, but when it clicks, it's going to be magical. I hope that's the case. We'll see. Time will tell. But we have to figure out our identity. And I think big part of that is there are unprecedented stakes here with Jota passing, with Arne Slot winning in his first season. I do think Slot could become a victim of his own success after winning the Premier League. Claudio Ranieri, right, at that one club that I'm totally blanking on right now. I'm so sorry. Leicester wins the Premier League, unprecedented, incredible run, maybe one of the most impressive Premier League campaigns of all time. And then gets sacked the next season because he just can't maintain that success. And that could be Arne Slot, but my verdict here is that is not going to be the case. I don't think Arne Slot is actually under fire, and I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think the discussions are happening amongst the fan base, which is not good. You don't want that. But I think Arne Slot is still the guy, and he needs to prove that, and he needs to be a little bit more brave. I think he's been a little cowardly with Mo Salah in particular. I think that's one key thing that he can do, but that's another video for another time, and I'd love to know what you think. Get your comments in below. As always, up the